I am not a native Mainer. I'm not proud of that. It wasn't my fault. I'm a Hoosier, and I grew up in the Midwest. From my backyard, I could see clear across the plains. I grew up in the heart of the country. But then luckily, 25 years ago, I came to Maine and found the soul of the country right here. If you look around, all these natural resources look at the wonder that surrounds us. Maine's forests and mountains and rivers and lakes. Henry David Thoreau called Maine's lakes jewels of the first order. But the most incredible resource that we have is all of you sitting in this room, my incredible colleagues in the legislature, and our task is to make sure that this resource is renewable. Help us win our re-elections. We want to make sure they're renewable and sustainable so that we can continue to supply the kind of energy that the people in the state of Maine need. And one of our best resources is our leaders. And so it is my great honor to introduce to you Congressman Tom Allen. Who's being waylaid by a representative.
4 minutes? I need to pay attention. Jane. Thank you so much. It's great to be with you today. This is a terrific day. I guess I'm not sure everyone wants us to be here. But apart from the noise beside us, this is a great turnout. And it's important because we are 50 days away from the election. And there is no more important period of time in any election. I will tell you, down in D.C., where we've got 2 more weeks to go in what the Republicans are calling Security September. The message the Republicans are trying to deliver is be afraid, be very afraid. Be afraid of terrorists and be afraid of Democrats. They're trying to make that connection. They did it in 2002. They did it in 2004. They're trying to do it again. I don't think the American people are going to buy it anymore. We've had enough of fear. All we believe in the House, we believe that we are going to get control and for once put an end to this one-party government that the Republicans have established in Washington and get a voice, a progressive voice in one of those chambers. But we're all nervous because though we feel very good, no one has voted yet. And this applies to every race in the state of Maine. So for all of these city, county, and state legislative races, getting out to vote, talking to people about the issues between now and the election, this is the single most important time. Many people don't make up their minds until the very end, just before the election. And having said that, I know you're all here and you're going to work for your legislative candidates. I want to say a few words about our governor. Let me tell you, from talking to my colleagues around the country, this is a very difficult time to be governor of any state, because what's happened at the federal level is they are decreasing federal funding to states, or they're slowing down the increase in funding to states for things like Medicaid. And that means when you simply stop keeping up with inflation at the federal level, it puts enormous pressure on our state legislators, including our 2 fine state legislators right here. It puts enormous pressure on them and on the governor. If you look at what John Baldacci and our state legislature has done, the Democrats in the state legislature, they took a $1.2 billion deficit, which they inherited from Governor King, and they've turned it into a $150 million surplus. That is not easy to do, and it's very hard to do without any increase in taxes, and that's what they've done. This is now Southern Maine Community College, where we are today. It used to be a technical college. When it became a community college, its enrollment exploded, and it's gone up faster in the last few years than any community college in the entire country. The transition, in South Portland, you've got to be very proud of this place. And even someone like Alan Greenspan, who no one ever accused of being a progressive, and certainly not a Democrat, has said that if you want to try to close the gap between the very wealthy in our society and everyone else, the single most important thing you can do is expand access to community colleges. And we are doing that here in Maine, thanks to the governor and the Democrats in the state legislature. You know, the Republicans here have made Dirigo Health they're beating that program as much as they can, because it sets an example for public participation in expanding access to health care. And since they don't really want the government to be involved anymore, and in fact less than it is in health care already, they are trying to take this program down. But the bottom line is it works. And it will have more people in the future signed up than today. But it's helped to hold down health care costs by millions of dollars here in the state of Maine. Thousands of people have health care who didn't have it before. And Maine is one of 7 states in the country, 7 states in the country, where the number of people with health insurance has increased and not decreased. 7 states. That's what we've been able to do here in the state of Maine with Democratic leadership. And just by contrast, at the federal level, the number of people without health insurance goes up 1 million people a year, every year that George Bush has been in office. 1 million people a year. That's not an agenda that we want here at the state of Maine. So what I urge you to do is to go out and make sure you do everything possible you can for our governor. It is absolutely essential we send him back. And, you know, I know there are independent candidates out there, but it was an independent candidacy in Florida, in New Mexico, in New Hampshire in 2000, which gave us George Bush. We don't need to repeat that experience here in the state of Maine. So get out, work hard for John Baldacci, work hard for our legislators. Make sure you give all your support to Jean Hay Bright. Well, you know, when she is in the U.S. Senate, she won't be voting for candidates like Sam Alito for the U.S. Supreme Court. She won't be supporting the war in Iraq the way Olympia Snowe has down the line. She won't be voting for big tax cuts for the wealthiest people in this country. She'll be advocating a progressive agenda on energy, on health care, on fiscal responsibility, on making sure we have more American jobs. So, Jean, good luck to you. Thank you all for everything you do for the Democratic Party. This is our year in Maine and across the country. We're headed for a big victory if you keep working. Thank you all very much.